Illinois has a long and proud history with coal. Coal mined in Illinois helped fuel an industrial revolution, making America great. The coal boom of the late 1860s went hand in hand with the development of a railroad network. This allowed coal companies to ship their product to markets in America's rapidly growing industrial cities. Towns with names like Coal City, Carbondale, and Carbon Hill grew quickly around mining areas as good-paying jobs promised miners wealth and prosperity. Many expected the boom would last longer than it did. But once mining was complete, companies packed up and went elsewhere. Communities dragged through the cycle of boom and bust were left in economic decline. Today, coal continues to play an important role in our nation's energy portfolio. Illinois' recoverable reserves of coal are larger than those of any state east of the Mississippi River, and the third largest in the country, behind only Montana and Wyoming. Despite stiff competition from natural gas and renewables like wind and solar, market demand for Illinois coal is on the rise. This is due to its relatively low production cost, high energy value, and the improved ability of coal-fired power plants to burn the state's high-sulfur coal. Meanwhile, markets in other areas like Appalachia are shrinking. Having played out recoverable reserves in Appalachia, big coal companies are now focusing on Illinois. But how important is coal to Illinois' economy today? And if coal mining is on the rise in Illinois, why aren't we experiencing growth in jobs, wealth, and prosperity in coal-producing areas? Today, coal mining has become highly mechanized. This means that mining Illinois coal can be accomplished with far fewer workers. This also means that coal can be mined more quickly, accelerating the boom and bust cycle that has plagued Illinois coal communities for years. Today, there are about 4,000 coal miners in Illinois, representing less than 0.1% of total jobs. And even though coal mining has increased in recent years, jobs have not grown proportionally with production. Compared to 100 years ago, Illinois can produce half as much coal with fewer than 4% of the miners. As the industry relies more on machines, it relies less on miners, leaving many unemployed. The coal mining jobs that exist today represent less than 0.1% of all Illinois jobs. Even if all of the spin-off jobs supported by the coal industry are added, the total number of coal-related jobs in Illinois barely represents 0.2% of all employment. These are good-paying jobs for those who have them. But as mining relies more on machines, even a boom in coal production won't bring back large numbers of jobs. Those days are gone. In contrast to coal, Illinois now has over 100,000 clean energy jobs, and that number is growing. While the number of coal jobs has remained relatively static, in 2014, the solar industry created jobs nearly 20 times faster than the overall U.S. economy. The coal industry has been active in Illinois for over 100 years. But how important is coal to our state's economy today? The coal industry claims it is an economic engine that fuels prosperity for the people of Illinois. Accordingly, they are showered with millions of dollars in public subsidies and taxpayer support each year. But coal represents just 0.3% of Illinois' private industry economic activity. In reality, the industry has been propped up on the taxpayer's dime. While the industry does support well-paying jobs, we find that the overall industry imposes a significant burden on state taxpayers. If we take all of the revenues generated for the state coffers by the coal industry, such as corporate taxes, coal employee taxes, and taxes from spin-off jobs. Then subtract all expenditures for coal-related public services, economic incentives, grants, subsidies, and abandoned mine land reclamation. We find that it actually costs our state budget nearly $20 million every year. Illinois now faces a $9 billion annual deficit that is projected to grow to $14 billion by fiscal year 2026. Deep cuts to the state budget are putting essential services at risk, while the multi-billion-dollar coal industry is being given a free pass at taxpayers' expense. And there are additional costs to Illinois residents. They include the taxes we pay to clean up after the mining is complete and the corporations leave. Here are some examples: acid mine drainage, leaking coal slurry ponds, coal ash disposal sites, abandoned mine lands, damaged roads, and subsided farmland. There are also costs to public health from burning the coal. Power plant pollution is responsible for asthma attacks and other respiratory diseases, heart attacks, strokes, lung cancer, and premature deaths. These costs are not included in an electric bill, but Illinois residents are paying for them just the same through taxes and compromised health. In fact, the Harvard School of Public Health concluded that the full cost of coal to our society is up to $500 billion every year. This represents, on average, an additional 17 cents per kilowatt hour over and above what we would normally pay in our electric bill. And while Illinois families are paying to clean up after the mining industry, or experiencing health impacts from mining, burning, or waste disposal, Illinois coal is leaving the state. Today, 78% of all coal mined in Illinois is shipped out of state. While the industry is gearing up for more exports overseas, Illinois communities are missing out on a revenue source that could be used to diversify local economies and improve their quality of life. Of the 25 coal-producing states in the U.S., Illinois is one of only 3 that does not collect a coal severance tax, a common-sense excise fee collected from coal companies that is based on the price or the volume of coal mined. While the multi-billion-dollar industry takes coal out of state, the communities where coal comes from are missing out on a substantial revenue source, as much as $100 million or more every year. In fact, if Illinois had had a severance tax in place like West Virginia, in 2012, communities would have collected $129 million. By 2040, it is estimated that this revenue stream to Illinois could be as much as $258 million each year. This is real money that other states are collecting today and have been collecting for decades. This is money that could be used by Illinois to move our economy forward or to pay for the legacy costs of coal mining. Most importantly, economic studies and the experience of 22 other states have shown that a severance tax does not affect coal production nor result in job loss. This means hardworking miners keep their jobs, and communities receive revenue to invest in environmental cleanup, education, job training, and infrastructure for a self-sufficient economy. In addition, many states are preparing for the time when coal's contribution to their overall energy mix begins to shrink, and they find themselves in a bust economy. That's why they are setting up permanent trust funds, where a portion of the revenues collected from a severance tax are set aside to grow for use in the future. Money earned on this investment can provide much-needed income to diversify local economies that have historically relied on coal and to clean up after coal companies leave town. Rather than continue to let corporations have a free ride, our state lawmakers can follow the lead of other major coal-producing states. They can adopt a common-sense severance tax that brings annual revenues back to communities impacted by coal mining. And they can create a community futures fund that will ensure revenues can continue once coal mining companies pack up and leave. Should we continue to subsidize the coal industry at a cost to the state budget of $20 million or more each year? Or instead, should lawmakers ask coal companies to pay their fair share, as other major coal-producing states are doing? It's time for Illinois to collect a small but important fee from multi-billion-dollar coal companies. It's time to direct revenues from a coal severance tax to job-creating projects that strengthen Illinois mining communities and help our hardworking families get ahead. For more information, go to www.reinvestil.org.